that you should test all of your assets with marketing spend. You should just grow as fast as you can and let people tell you what to do and what not to do. I will just tell you you're an idiot and you have no idea what you're talking about. I'm gonna tell you that very harshly, with love. I had somebody come to me and they were like, "Oh, well, I can test all my claims using marketing spend." And I said, "That's the stupidest thing you could ever do because you are wasting money. If you just want to throw money away, you have a better chance of just going to the casino and putting it all on red." Okay. Go to roulette. Roulette's my game if I ever do play, but go to roulette, go to poker, go play a game you don't even understand. You have a better chance of making money than if you just throw money at ads. I think it's the stupidest thing that you could do. You want to look at these three things: blank market fit, blank market fit, blank market fit. What we're going to do is we are then going to establish a growth formula to understand what to focus on. This is the exact same thing. Omar's on the call, so Omar can tell you if he's comfortable telling you. If not, Omar, you don't have to say anything. But Omar can tell you. He and I had a call a few weeks ago where we covered his growth formula, which then led into his I call them just the activities or the you can call them like your daily. I think we did daily, weekly, monthly. And again, Omar, you can tell me if I'm mistaken. And then we went into building a tracker. So we, with Omar, these are things we did. And then you guys saw Omar's post the other day, right? And Omar, like, if do you want to speak to these things a little bit and just tell people like what we did on the call?
Yeah, sure. I that was for aligning my process because I had a lot of tasks everywhere. So we were talking about which actions or which tasks I need to perform every day to be successful in the long term. And basically, that's what I needed to do. For example, in the morning, in the afternoon, at night, every day. That is aligned with my objectives and goals that gonna be bringing this cash flow for the business and the MRR for the future.
Yeah. And we had that call, what was that, like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
And then you had that nice sale just this past week, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So the
No,
growth,
that was that's the same week when
oh, it
we
was within this.
talked.
Yeah.
On Friday, I was closing this deal.
Yeah, that's huge. And
Yeah.
it's not because what I told Omar and what I try to tell a lot of people is, and thankfully Omar listens, the the activities that you're doing, there's nothing unique about them. So like if you guys are seeing these like really intelligent people or people that you're perceiving as hyper successful or even just slightly more successful than you, or you're like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? All they're doing is they're identifying their growth formula. They're doing they understand the activities that lead to growth and then they track or they systemize doing those activities. That's it. So, for example, if I want to become a better runner because I hate running, I should probably run. And I should probably run pretty consistently. And I should probably track my running to know when I need to run faster, when I need to run further, all that stuff. Can I become a better runner if I never run? No, that's stupid. It'd be a ridiculous concept to say I'm a great runner. All I do is go lift weights. You're like, what does that have to do with each other? I'm a great runner. I watch TV all day. What does that have to do with each other? Nothing, right? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to understand, okay, what is going to lead to growth? Okay. And that's going to tie into understanding these three market fits above. So we want to look at with growth. Let's start with growth. What makes me money? Now, I know this is a very like shallow question, but you have to, I don't care what business you're running, you need money. I'm a nonprofit who wants to feed orphans in, Sudan. You think that's free? No, it costs money. So you have to look at what makes me money, not in a shallow sense, just in a realistic sense. What makes me money? Does anybody want to volunteer? And we can go through and build your whole thing right now. Free coaching call if you want. You just have to be okay
I
doing it on
can.
YouTube. Okay,
I'm
Adelina
happy
wants to do
to.
it.
Yeah,
So
because this is actually what I'm stuck on. I don't know. My tracking is all over the place. My activities, I'm just doing bits here and there.
So watch this. Adelina, what space are you in right now?
Landscaping.
Okay, so Adelina is with landscapers. Now, watch this. Let's come back up here. There's three market fits, okay? Everybody who has not heard of product market fit. Everybody's heard of product market fit.
No.
So, product market fit refers to making sure that people want what you have to offer. So,
Hmm.
do people want what I have to offer? Does the product fit in the market? Do you think landscapers are looking to purchase Segways or electric scooters?
No.
No, it doesn't make any sense, right?
Hmm.
Do you think landscapers are looking for maybe a system to run their business so they can get more landscaping deals?
Yes.
Yes. And how do we know? We know not because we know in hindsight, but when you don't know, do landscapers want blorg or put together whatever random assortment of letters you want? Do they want this new, maybe the AI thing we're going to cover with Amanda tomorrow? Do they want it? We don't know until we speak
Mm.
with them. So when
Yeah.
we talk about the guinea pig process, you're putting together an MVP of what you think they like based off your market research, which we looked at last week. Again, look at Reddit, Quora, Jeeves or Ask Jeeves, whatever they call it now. Look at Facebook communities. Look at where people are speaking about what they like and don't like. Look at content. Look at people also ask. Put something together around that. Do your market research and then take it to people via an MVP and speak to them.
Hmm.
And if they say, I like it, I want to try it out, you have product market fit to some degree. How do you perfect product market fit? You just refine based on feedback. What is feedback? Feedback is data, the numbers of usage. It's also what I'm verbally telling you. Adelina, this system does not make sense. What about it does not make sense? Well, I don't like that I have to do this. Okay, if there were an easier way, would you use it? Yes, I would love an easier way. Hey, I changed it. It's now easier. Wow, Adelina, we love it, but I have a problem here now. Great. Give me all your problems. I
Mm.
think Grant is on the call. Grant can tell you on the sales calls that we have with people, I will tell them, listen, I want you to complain because if you're complaining, that means that you want this to work. Otherwise, you would have just fired us. So I tell them, complain, give me all the complaints. So now they feel more confident complaining and they don't associate complaints with a negative. They associate complaints as feedback for me to develop. So when they say, I want this, and I go, I'll have it to you in a week, and they go, wow, this is really cool. I also want this. Hey, I'll have it to you in a week. And we just continuously develop it. The product market fit becomes ironed, it becomes perfected, right? Not
Mhm.
because, again, not because I'm so smart that I can read their mind, but because I'm so humble that I want them to complain to me so I can make the perfect thing. I check my ego at the
Mhm.
door. Now, product market fit is not that obscure. It's not like that unknown, but people skip it all the time because they think, I know what you want. That's stupid. That's so dumb. Just
Mm.
talk to them. That's it. That's it. If I wanted to, if let's say we all hung out together and I go, oh, I know, let's all do laser tag, and everyone hates laser tag but me. That's not gonna be a fun day.
Mm.
And I was there like, pew, 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 pew. I'm having a blast, literally. And you guys are all like, this is stupid. Like, what are we doing here? That wouldn't make any sense. I could just talk to you guys and we could vote and figure out what we like the most, right?
Mhm.
So product market fit is just the easiest thing of just figuring out what they want, developing what they want. Next, we have language market fit. Language market fit, which is basically, do they understand? That's it. And again, split test. How do I think they can communicate it? There's if you read 80/20, what 80/20 tells you is once I understand once I have like some kind of clientele. So 80/20 covers this and the book let me see what it's called. April Dunford in let me see where is it?
Absolutely awesome or something.
Yes, yeah, obviously awesome. Obviously awesome by
Obviously
April
awesome. Yeah.
Dunford. She says, don't try to figure out what works for your clientele. Go ask them. So, hey, what
Mm.
do you guys think I do? Oh, we love you because we think you do A, B, and C. Well, you see what the majority says, that's what we do because that's already what's attracting your best clients. Why would I try to move away from that? Once you put it out there, you put it out there. That's it. You put it out there. So the market is going to dictate how you change and how you evolve, not you. If you dictate how you change and evolve, you better have a lot of money to go through the slow seasons.
Mm.
It's like one thing that always confused me growing up is every time I remember in middle school, I'd be like, okay, all the girls who have curly hair straighten their hair, and all the girls with straight hair want to curl their hair. And like, no one's happy with what they have. Like, I'm like thinking to myself, like, lean into it. You know what I mean? Like, if you got curly hair, rock the curly hair. If you got straight hair, rock the straight hair. Like, fine, you know what I mean? But it's always, I was always confused by that in middle school because I didn't understand women at that point. So it's the same thing. Like, don't try to change how people perceive you. Instead, lean into it within the brand because they're telling you, here's what we love about you. Why would I say, oh, you love this, you're going to give me money for that? No, I'm going to try to push this thing you guys all hate. That doesn't make any sense.
Mm.
Anybody remember the movie, when they released the movie Sonic, they had previews for the movie Sonic, and like people lost their mind. They're like, this does not look like Sonic. It was so bad. And they were like making fun of the movie so bad. And they literally postponed the movie, redesigned how Sonic looked, released it. It did super well. Then they released a second one. Then they released a third one. So because they listened to how they were being perceived, they literally had a trilogy go out, which you could say is good or not good, but that made them quite a bit of money. So it's, do they understand the value that I have put forth here? If they don't understand it, it's too confusing. Go look at Airtable's website. If you know people who do like no code and even like custom solutions, they love Airtable. Try to read I think they fixed it since then, but I remember Airtable's language used to be so confusing. It was like, what does it do? It was so confusing. When Steve Jobs, this is like the big one. If you look at Steve Jobs doing his Apple release products, how did he release iPod when it first came out? He didn't say it has the space. He didn't say this. He says he said 1,000 songs in your pocket. And at the time when you had, what was it, like Walkmans, right? What does a CD hold? Like 15, maybe front and back if you had like the certain limited release edition CD, you had to flip it A side, B side. But you usually had, what is it, like max, like 15, maybe 18 songs. So to go from 15, 18 to 1,000, it was, and again, that's why I love the book Demand Side Sales, because it says when you do your marketing assets, do and your sales process, do it from the demand side, not the supply side. So how do they perceive you? Ask them, look at your market research, and then test, 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 test. Whatever does better, lean into that. And Sean Ellis talks about a case study where this company said, "Oh, you can store your photos." They had no sales. He changed the word "store" to "share." You can share your photos. Boom, 18 million users in like 8 months or something, because now they could use it just to share it. There's another one talking. He was another one he was talking about where it was like a dating app, and it was like find a date, nothing. He changed it to help people find a date. So now I could basically say, "Oh, I know this person. I know this person. I think they'd be on a good date, so I'm going to recommend they go on a date together." And they had huge numbers go up. Even married people were joining the app because the married people could say, "Oh, we're married, but we have so many friends that we think these guys would be a good fit." So now not only could they open their consumer base, but everybody was recommending who they think would be a good fit and tried to play matchmaker. Boom, skyrocketed. All because they changed find a date to help people find a date. So language market fit, do they understand the value that you created in the product market fit portion? And the final piece is going to be channel market fit. Where? So where can I communicate? Where can I communicate this? And there's usually three main things you want to look at, which is going to be um, word of mouth slash viral, because those two go together. If it's viral, you're going to have a lot of word of mouth, right? And then you have organic, which is basically being discoverable, and then you have paid. So if people love say so, if you look in Facebook group and people go, "Oh, you should join Alec," that would be word of mouth slash virality, right? Maybe very, very small virality, but word of mouth virality, right? Organic might be my YouTube. Paid, I don't even touch. But paid would be if I ran ads, right? So it's basically, is this product good to push? Do they understand what I'm doing? Now, where should I push it? So when people come to you or when they come to me or when anybody says, "Oh, you should run ads from day one," there's somebody put a post the other day. They said, "I have $5,000. What should I do?" And somebody said, "You should run ads." I was just thinking to myself, what a complete moron. Like you have no idea what you're just telling the whole world you have no idea what you're doing because you skipped to channel market fit trying to figure out what channel, but you don't even know, do they understand the value? And you don't even know what value you're pushing out there. If you follow this process in this order, you'll understand how to grow. So now let's come back down to the growth formula. So what's going to make you money, right? Number one, you want obviously your product market fit and you want your language market fit. and then you want your channel market fit. So once you've identified those things, you want to see, okay, what channel is Adelina going to operate on? Let's say Facebook, right? So what does Adelina need to do to generate sales? So we want to look at sales. We want to look at closes or closing, and we want to look at retention, right?
Mhm.
If you have a great product market fit, you will have word of mouth and virality. So we can say you can even change sales from like traffic if you really want to. So then it goes, okay, well, how do I get traffic? I need to maximize how many people are seeing what I'm doing, right? So I would say, okay, for your growth formula, I want to look at basically saying, let's see, and let's say we're going organic, and this is basically what Grant and I did. This is what Stephanie is doing. This is what Omar's doing. This is what everybody who's come to me that's doing this is now doing. So they're going to say, okay, traffic, what is my channel market fit? How do I find channel market fit? Well, if I'm not doing paid, I have to do organic because word of mouth virality will come from doing well. We cover that in the ultimate sales system and ultimate, the sales machine video, right? If
Mhm.
I have a great product, whether what it doesn't matter what I'm doing, landscaping, systems, basket weaving, doesn't matter. If I do well, it will promote itself. So how do I get that first person? So the first thing you're going to do is, okay, what channel do I need to operate on? So let's say it's Facebook. So Facebook needs to be, I need to leverage OPA, other people's audience. I need to um, position myself as an expert. So I need to do other people's audience. I need to do content. I need to push to one-on-one conversations. I need to close more. I need to onboard smoothly. Oops. I need to, what is going to get them to stay? I need to get them results, right? So
Yeah.
whatever that looks like. And then I could even ask for, based on the results, could then lead into like your word of mouth, right? So we have other people's audience plus times content times pushing to one-on-one. And one-on-one might be follow me, join my group, DM, sales call. There might be multiple steps, but I just need to push to one-on-one. It's not about doing it in the exact way that Alec is telling me. It's about understanding what is Alec trying to tell me, and then how do I apply that within my own space. So if you push to one-on-one and they're always in person, who cares? Are you getting to more one-on-ones? If you can have 1,000 one-on-ones because you go to events, do you think Alec is going to tell you that's stupid? Go do it in a Facebook group. No. I'm
Mm.
not going to say, oh, well, you didn't do it the way I wanted you to do it. Did you do what we needed to do to identify growth? Yes. Now, why is it going to be harder if you don't have a social media presence? Because then you're going to have to work really hard to get one-on-ones because your trust's going to be low. Once you have your one-on-ones, you need to have more closes. As you close them, you need to have a perfect onboarding experience so that way you build high trust. They're actually going to use what you're doing. They're actually going to work with you. They're not going to want to leave. And then you want to get them a result because if you're getting results and you're reporting to them those results, which is why reporting and data tracking is one of the biggest offers that people don't cover, they're not going to leave. If I'm telling you every month, we made you 28,000, we made you 13,000, we made you 53,000, why would you leave? Because when you leave, you're going to lose that visibility. So this becomes your basically like some version of your growth formula, right?
Mhm. Right.
Because these
Yeah.
things together are going to lead to you growing. Does that make sense so far? So from here, if we know this is our growth formula, we don't have to do any of the activities that are going to fall outside of this purview, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Anybody not with me so far? I think we're losing Adelina. Omar, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, your
Yep.
connection
Can
just
you?
went out, so I
Yeah.
didn't know if it was me or you. That's fine. So anything outside of this becomes obsolete to a degree.
Oh, okay.
At
Yeah.
the bare minimum, it falls like second
Yeah.
priority, right? And again, this all depends on what I'm doing. So if you're retaining them, then of course you're gonna have a smooth onboarding and results, like consistently, right? So consistent results might be, consistent support. It might be consistent growth. It might be consistent reporting. There might be things that fall under that purview. But this is different than if I'm doing like landscaping itself, which might be a one-time event. Because for them to have a good results with their client, they're not going to be doing other people's audience. They're not going to be doing, they're probably going to do content. Their one-on-ones are going to be in person, right? Their closing are usually pretty good, but we're going to help them with their close rates. Their onboarding is just going to be the activation process of staging everything and building everything and communicating on time. Their results might just be at the end, a job outcome survey, having them sign off. If they won't sign off, let's fix it. If they do sign off, great, we're done. And then it might be getting a referral afterwards. So it's going to look different for different businesses because I want to look at what is going to make me the most amount of money. This is where if we're talking about nonprofits, because I don't want it to be like too shallow, because I don't want you guys to miss the point. If we're talking about nonprofits, I need to have more events. I need to have more content marketing the mission and the problems that the mission is trying to solve. I need to have more dinners. I need to ask people for more money at dinners, right? I can create a growth formula around what I'm seeing works with other people and then make my own tests and develop my own growth formula within my own testing.
I have two questions,
Yeah.
Alec. Can you remind me what OPA is? Is that
Other people's
OPA?
audience.
Oh, other people's audience. Okay.
Yeah. And I stole
And
that
then,
straight from drop shipping because they always say use OPM, which is lies. They'll be like, use other people's money to fund it. I say just use other people's audience or pre-established audiences.
okay. And then my second question is, does this formula, you're saying it like saying it for other people. Can I use this formula right here with the one
Yeah.
coaching client that I don't want
Yeah.
to?
This would be like your agency side of things.
Okay.
This is the way I approach it because OPA is free, content is free, pushing to one-on-one is free, closing is free, onboarding, if you have GHL, is going to be pretty smooth if you're just communicating the way I explain it. And then getting results is pretty easy if you're building the sales system, if you're developing your product market fit, and if you're most importantly reporting.
Okay.
If I'm like the world's strongest man and I have no medals, no championships, no trophies, why? Well, if I'm not going to competitions and telling people and showing people, what good is being the world's strongest man, right? So, that reporting is one of my favorite things that people seem to just like not pay attention to.
Hmm.
Yeah, if you don't have reporting, I'm telling you right now, you want to talk about, oh, and so here's another thing, Omar, I think we did this for you, results, and then I think we did churn. We talked
Yeah.
about churn. So with churn for Omar, it was, hey, if we get his client a client, they're not going anywhere. So what becomes part of his success? Getting them a client. If he gets them a client, boom, they're locked in, they're not going anywhere. So now we're tying in their success to his success. So when I tell you guys, listen, I want you to make money because if you make money, you'll never leave. And if you never leave, I'll make money. And then I can repeat that. I'm saying, hey, for me to make money, I have to make you money because that's going to be part of my growth revenue. So now what's cool is in being selfish, I have to be extremely selfless. And in being selfless, I also benefit, which makes me a little selfish. It's like this perfect dichotomy. It's this perfect balance between the two. But yeah, this is basically your formula for any agency type.
I don't think I have the results piece down, probably.
So results is not a case study. It is, are you helping them get results? So for example, if we look at your program and look, you can see how this formula ties to everything. What is your
Mhm.
offer? Does your offer lead to results? If not, your offer is not good. What am I talking about in the A to Z transformation? You have to figure out where are they, where do they want to go? If you're pitching an offer that doesn't transform the buyer, then there's no result to market. So number one, why would they buy? They won't. Number two, how are you going to communicate that you did what you set out to do? You can't. So it's a double negative. That's why if you look at like life coaching and therapy, that's one of the hardest industries to market because how can you quantify, someone doing better? All they're going to say is, I'm not trying to be insensitive because I think those things can be extremely beneficial. So it's not to be insensitive, but it's just to like show you some of the struggles with other industries. How do you quantify like happiness? How do you
Yeah.
quantify happiness?
Yeah.
It's pretty hard. You can go from I'm feeling, happier or I have fewer negative thoughts, but like it's very hard to quantify that relative to or compared to me saying we went from 5,000 a month to 90,000 a month. That's very, very tangible.
Yeah.
So with you're saying, like, and this is one of the reasons why I can't stand coaching myself, because usually coaching ties back to limited beliefs, and limited beliefs tie back to you honestly don't want it bad enough. And so what it ends up becoming is me almost berating the clients. It really becomes that. Because if you think about like I forget who was talking to me about this, but I was like, if you think about crossing a river, like watch this, like let me get another volunteer, and I'll show you what I mean about limited mindset beliefs. I think it's a really stupid topic, and I'll show you why.
You can shoot me.
Okay, Grant, you have to cross a river, Grant. Tell
All
me
right.
everything you think about with crossing the river.
How deep the water is, how cold it is, what's the distance between both ends? Um, is there anything I can float on that's near me? It's a few things I would think of.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Anybody want to add more, or you feel like that's pretty good?
Can I swim? Is the water too cold? Um, is it, oh, it's a river. So that's,
Yeah.
is it a river in Florida? Because like there might be gators and I'm not going there.
Yeah.
Um,
Now watch this. When people come to start an agency, they do the same thing. Do I need this? Do I need that? What about this? What if I fail here? What if I do this? What if I do that? Now watch this. Grant, same question.
Mm,
You have to cross a river. There is a very hungry jaguar behind you chasing you.
okay.
Now, what do you think about crossing the river?
Nothing. I just crossed the river.
You just cross the river. So
Yeah.
what happens is agency, and this is why I can't stand limited mindsets, because the only time that you have a limited mindset is when you afford yourself the time and the space to make that decision. And they go, I don't need it. I don't know. And so I can't instill in you. There's the things that I hate, um, like working on in terms of my offer, or the things that I can't change for you. I can tell Omar, hey, follow these things. I can't make Omar follow these things. So that's why I like working with someone like Omar, because Omar goes, oh, these are the things. Got it. 3 days later, oh, I closed somebody because I did exactly what you told me. I'm not telling him anything genius. It might be extremely simple and there might be genius in its simplicity, but I'm not telling him anything that's like profound. I'm telling him only do the things that lead to you getting results. Let's identify what those are. He's the one actually going out and do the work. So that's what I meant by when I said in the beginning, so many people I think stay away from my content or will avoid working with me or avoid um, entertaining conversations with me because I don't tell them what they want to hear, which is, oh, it's okay. Like when you're ready. No, I'm going to make you uncomfortable. Because I'm not going to, again, part of my success is getting you guys to come in, get results and that will keep you sticky. Right. And then my churn goes down. Or you can even have negative churn, which is where you have higher usage rates. So you might come in at 97 a month. You go, I love working with Alec. I'm going to 297. I'm going to 497. Right. That's negative churn because that's going to outweigh if a 97 person leaves if you move up to 497. Right. And so that's why I tell people, I'm like, listen, and that's why I tell you when you're making that content, what we covered in the last call, have your posturing set. And I was telling Grant did something crazy good last night. We had a client who was like really resistant to the process. And I was telling Grant about the posturing. And I was like, listen, like if you want to help them, you have to be firm, right? Like if I see you going to drink a vial of poison, do you think I'm being nice because I'm like, oh, don't drink that? No, being nice would be like smacking it out of their hand. Now, if you just saw me smack something out of someone's hand, you'd be like, wow, that's really mean until you understood the context of what I'm trying to do, right? So I told Grant that. He messaged me like 4 hours later. He's like, oh, yeah, by the way, not only is this guy on board, but I also did the same thing with this guy and he's on board. And that's why I like working with Grant because I don't have to tell Grant, hey, there's a Jaguar behind you. Grant just goes, I'm going to act as if there's always a Jaguar behind me. And so having that, and you can call it like this is not to put Omar or Grant down, but we could say that Omar and Grant are either, here's the bell curve, okay? And this is a I know Omar and Grant pretty well, so they'll laugh about it. But either you're basically having the do it, and then you have the thinkers. Either you guys are on this side of the bell curve, which means you're really, really dumb and you just don't overthink it. Oh, lake, I jump in. Oh, river, I jump in. They don't think about, oh, is it cold? Oh, I shouldn't have done that. Oh, there's a gator. I didn't think about that, right? Do you then have the hyper intelligent people and they go, listen, I could think about this all day long and I'm going to screw myself over. So I might as well just do it. So what's funny is you'll see entrepreneurs who are both super stupid and super smart making it. And if you're the person in the middle and you're like, I'm smarter than this guy and I'm dumber than this guy. I don't understand why am I not doing it? If the dumb guy and the smart guy's doing it, what does that make me? That makes you average intelligence. So you're overthinking it. So you have to either, people will tell you either A, shut off your brain, right? Have you guys heard that? Hey, just turn your brain off and just do it. Or the other option, which is if you're really smart, you'll just copy somebody who is equally smart or smarter, ride their coattails, and then make it your own. I would consider myself extremely average. But what I recognize is I'm overthinking. Let me just copy what the smart people do. And let me just move fast and I'll learn along the way. And
Hmm.
so for Grant and Omar, maybe they're average thinkers and they're like, oh, I'll just copy Alec and then I'll make it my own. And then what happens? Oh, it builds trust because if I tell them and it works, they're like, oh, this works. What else can we do? Or we could say Grant and Omar are both equally really dumb and they just don't overthink it. Or we could say Grant and Omar are so intelligent that they've hitched their wagon to Alec only to surpass me in a few months. But at the end of the day, the outcome is still the same. So you have to understand, where do I fall within that bell curve, and then how do I handle myself? And that's where, if you're coaching anybody, if you see someone who's like, "Oh, I'm a coach," because usually go look at Tony Robbins content. There's a reason why all this content is like, "Go get it, mindset, feel better." Because he's like, if you can fix that part, then the rest is easy. That's not the hard part. Growing a business is not the hard part. The hard part is having the being the person who can grow the business. That's the hard part. So with the growth formula, you really want to look at the things that lead to success and then just do them. Because you're only the fastest way you're gonna learn. Watch this. Let's go back to what Patricia said about the river. The river is cold. There's two ways to find out that the river is cold. Number one, I can run all these tests and hypothesize, and maybe I, find a thermometer and put it in the river and I wait, or I do anything but touch the water. The other option is just touch the water. You'll find out real quick if that is cold or not, right? So the fastest way to learn is just to do. Now, if you touch that cold water and it's really cold, you're probably going to get goosebumps and you're probably going to jump back. But you learned it much faster than the person who's like, who has a thermometer? Right? Let's rock, paper, scissors on who's going to touch the water. Just put your toe in, put a pinky in. Who cares? Like, that's one I love Nike slogans. Like, just do it. Because you're going to learn faster if you just do it. And the only reason, if you're like, I don't want to, I know I need to just do it, but I'm not, it's because you don't have enough of a force behind you of a push, which means you don't want it bad enough. So once you have your growth formula, then it's just, let's go on to activities. So OPA, how much time should I spend in other people's audience? If you have no clients yet, minimum 2 hours a day. If you're doing this full time, that should look more like 4 hours a day. Minimum. Half of your day should be spent on telling people what you do and talking to people. Then we have content. Content should be, I used to say once a week. I would, and that, like when I say used to say, I would say like 2 months ago. I think now, because I'm working with Grant and we're running this really well, I think the numbers that we are seeing is really good at twice a month. So that gives Grant the time to put out the content, let the group organically find it for week one, and then he can forcibly push it out over week two. And he's still getting good results. If we had it at once a week, I don't think we had enough time to do all that without really burning the group. So this twice a month also allowed us to talk to everybody twice a month. So I'd say twice a month for content. Pushing to one-on-one is basically just track the number. How often am I doing it? How often am I pushing the conversations from the outreach? Just tracking how you're doing it, because that will tell you, okay, if I'm not getting a lot of people, I need to enhance my script, or I need to, right? Just testing your script. From your closing, again, it's just your numbers. How can I enhance my script? For your onboarding smoothly, you basically want to look at just feedback and AAR, after action review. This is a thing they teach you in the military. Project management, we'll call it lessons learned. Same thing. Watch this. Let me get another volunteer. You guys will see how complicated this is. It's very complicated. I'll ask a question. You guys see if you can answer it, okay? Because it'll be a tough question. You touched a stove and it burned your hand. What did you learn?
Never touch the stove.
Never, maybe never touch a stove. Now watch this. You go into project two, meal number 2 that you're preparing. You touch the stove. It's not hot. What did you learn?
Sometimes it's not hot.
Okay. Number three, you go to touch the stove, but you notice a dial is turned. The burner with the turned dial is hot. The one without it turned is not hot. What did you learn?
That it can be hot or not hot, and I need to pay attention
Pay attention to what?
to the dials.
Okay, less. Now you go to meal number four. All the dials are off. Three of them are cold. One of them burns you. Why did that one burn you? Even though it's off.
Because I need to pay attention to the burners.
Maybe, but let's say the burner is they look the same, but the dial is off.
Oh,
Like all the dials are off. How could it still be warm?
I don't know.
Maybe I just cooked a meal and I turned it off. So it's
Mm,
cooling off. So now over four meals, I've learned, oh, it's hot. Wait, it's not always hot. I got to pay attention to the burners. Wait, even when the burners are off, if I just cooked a meal, it might be hot. So over four meals, I just learned when not to touch the burners. And that will tell me, hey, you should clean the burners when the dials are off. We haven't cooked a meal in 2 hours. Now, in hindsight, as adults, we all know that, right? Because we've probably all experienced that. Well, dials are off. Oh, mom, did you just cook something? Right? Honey, you just cook something? Right? Oh, I'm stupid. I just made my kid eggs and I just touched the burner even though it's off, right? You learn that pretty quickly through mistakes. So when you go through things, lessons learned. After action review basically means what did we do well? What could we have done better? And that's basically what it is. Like what do we do well that we can do again? And what did we do or what could we do better that we could change next time? That's basically what it boils down to. Lessons learned. So you want to make sure that you're having moments of reflection on all of these things. What went well? Grant will tell you when we went through his DM closing, we went, okay, Grant, how far did you get along? He's like, well, I got to this part, but this is where they started ghosting me en masse. Great, let's look at that part. Okay, let's try doing this. He's like, okay. He gets a little further. This is where I'm stuck. Let's look at it. We change it. Okay, gets a little further. We change it. We look at it. He goes, hey, I have 4 sales calls lined up this week. I'm like, holy cow. Because Grant is smart enough to say, I don't know what I don't know. What am I doing wrong? Let me learn from my mistakes. And then we just tested. He's going to try this for this people, this for this people. And we just saw what worked better. Then you go into getting results. Well, what is getting results? That's just going to be your product that you've identified up above. And how do we reduce churn? It's just monthly reporting, talking to them when they reach out to you, respond to them quickly. So these things just become, what's interesting with these things is they just become read the data, report. This just becomes track after actions reviews. Close more is just track AAR. This is just track AAR, like where am I failing? And then this is, okay, twice a month. And this is 4 hours a day. So if you're like, well, I have no sales calls, let's go backwards. You're not closing anybody. How many people are hopping on calls with you? One a month. Well, yeah, that number's going to go way up. How much content are you making? I'm not making content. Well, that's going to go way up. How much are you spending on OPA? None. Well, that has to go up. And you have to go up in this order because notice this is chronological. I'm engaging, I'm pushing content, I have one-on-one conversations, I have sales calls, they onboard, I get them results, and they stay. So it goes in order. So if you're like, oh, well, my churn is through the roof, how's your onboarding? It's not good. How's your close? I'm having to convince them to hop on the call, right? It all stems together. So this tells you what activities you need to do and how frequently. And then whatever you're doing, just track it. That's it. How can you track it? Write it in a notepad, write it on paper, create a Google Sheet, create a Notion table, create a chisel and stone, get an abacus. Who cares? Track it. Track it consistently, track it honestly. That's why I have the tracker where you share the links because if you come to me and say, oh, I'm doing all these things, I can say, pull up your tracker. So I can either call you out on your BS or I can say, okay, great. Now that I know you're actually doing it, let's hop in the conversations. Oh, this is where I think you messed up. I would try this. And you can ask Grant. That's exactly what we did for 3 months. How's this going? Here's what I would change. Try it. Let's see how it goes. Hey, that worked. Hey, that didn't work. Hey, I have my own idea. Cool. Because now Grant's seeing how I'm thinking and he can go, I have my own ideas. Let's try it out. Let's try Grant's method versus Alex's method. Who do you think is going to do better? Well, if Grant is paying attention to his numbers, he's going to do better because he's doing this every day and I'm not. Right? So Grant starts to slowly pass me in those categories, which is what I want to have happen. So we want to look at like what activities fall within that. And then you want to basically, what you can do is as you grow more and more, you can start saying, okay, I have new activities that are not growth oriented. They're not growth oriented. What do I need? That's what tells me, hey, I need a VA to handle this because I want to sustain myself around growth, not around doing menial tasks that are not around growth. Well, how do I know what task I need to go to? These things. And you know what's crazy is as you scale up, these all become different tasks, right? OPA, what is that? Traffic, setters, content, what is that? Content creation. Pushing one-on-one, what is that? Your setters. Close more, who is that? Your closers. Onboarding, who is that? Your onboarding team. Maybe your client success team, maybe your account manager. Getting results, who's that? Your product team, your actual marketing guys, right? And churn, what is that? Well, that's going to be your account managers who are going to be coordinating with your product team. Like these can all become heads, and then they all have teams under them. And it just becomes a matter of when I have new activities, you can even say like no time because that's going to affect growth. Now I'm just looking at, okay, cool. That's what I'm going to outsource. Where am I going to be more effective? Let's say I'm a crap closer. Have someone else close. Let's say I'm a crap setter. I don't want to be doing 4 hours. I mean, that's my biggest time right there. 4 hours a day. Let me bring in some setters. Great. I just got 4 hours back of my day. Now I can move into maybe making content once a week. Now I can move into maybe having more conversations. Now I can move into really perfecting my closing. Now I can move into really perfecting this and that, right? But this is all it boils down to. And the frustrating part is I wish it were more complicated. Because if it were more complicated, I think more people would be interested. But when I tell people it's just a matter of identify what is actually going to get you results, only do those things. Identify the activities that are going to lead to you getting those results, and then track that you're doing those activities. Because then I can see, are you doing it? The tracker tells me, are you doing it? Yes. Are you filling it out? Yes. Let's see how you're executing here. Oh, I'm not doing well. Great. Now we can have a conversation on how to do this better. But when people come to me and they go, I'm not getting any clients, I'm going to say, well, are you doing the tracker? It's my first question. I'm going to work backwards. Are you doing the tracker? I'm not doing the tracker. So how do you know the program isn't working? How do you know your content's not working? How do you know any of this? You don't. You don't. And I'm not going to take you serious coming to me saying, well, it's not working. Are you tracking it? No, you're not working. So how can I trust you telling me that the approach is not working? It doesn't make sense. It's like, oh, I go to the gym, I don't lose weight. Are you tracking your diet? No. How are you going to tell me the weights don't work? Are you tracking your workouts? No. Are you tracking your sleep? No. But you want to tell me that the gym doesn't work, right? Are you tracking, I'm always sad. Are you tracking your therapy sessions? Are you tracking the fact that you're even going to therapy? Are you attending therapy? No. How can you tell me therapy doesn't work? Right? It doesn't matter what you're telling me, right? If you don't have the scientific, it's literally collecting your own scientific data. And this is your hypothesis of what is going to help you make it work. So you're not tracking the data. How can you make a conclusion? You can't. Go look at any study. What do they do? Oh, we have sample sizes and we track this and that. And this is what we're trying to, it's all a scientific experiment, all of it.
Yeah, this is very clear now. I think what I'm doing is I'm just doing the groups, Facebook groups, and I'm like just DMing, like sending 20 a day. But I've kind of minimized that now. I just need to concentrate on the social media kind of side of things.
Here's where it gets better. Grant and Omar can both tell you that I've helped them put together a daily calendar.
Mm.
Because if I put on a calendar, and you can ask Omar and Grant, call me out if I'm wrong. I tell them both, I said, if you make a calendar, you better stick to it. And I said, here's why. If you stick to the calendar and it's not working out, let's change the calendar to work out. But if you don't follow the calendar, you're training yourself to say, oh, I have things to do, I won't do it. I say, no, execute the calendar and we will adapt the calendar around what works for you the best. Because now at least I can see Grant hates developing his product. So what do you think we're going to outsource first? Product development. Omar hates, let's say maybe checking with his guys. All right. I'm not trying to put him down. I'm guessing because I don't work with Omar too closely. But let's say he hates something. I'm going to see his calendar where he's like, I'm doing the bare minimum. Great. Omar, we can outsource that. And what's going to happen when we outsource the thing that these guys hate? the results are going to shoot through the roof. Why? Because if Grant hates product development, let's bring in a guy who loves product development. Oh, wow. His weakness just became his strength,
I
or
do
at
hate
least the company's
product
strength.
development.
Yeah, Grant can't stand product development.
I'm just not a very technical person, but I like talking to people in marketing.
So how stupid would I be to say, hey, Grant, I know you love doing this. Let me take you away from what you love. I'm going to force you to learn what you don't love. That'd be stupid. And stance should be, hey, Grant, I want to make sure that you understand the bare bones of what we're building out, which you can ask Grant that we're doing in the next 30 days. I want you to understand the bare bones of what we're doing so you can actually sell better. That thing you really love doing, you can actually do that better. Oh, product guy. Excuse me, product guy. I know you hate talking to people and you love building things. I want you to work with Grant so you can see what they love so you can go and further develop the product to be to that thing you love doing. And I can see that in their calendars, right? So just, you want to then make a calendar around yourself. Okay, how do I do these things? How do I schedule out making content every 2 months? Well, if I'm making content, I have to find ideas, I have to draft them, I have to put them together, I have to record them, I have to edit them, I have to upload them. So there's 6 tasks right there. So if I want to upload a video every 2 weeks, I need to have those 6 tasks done before the end of that 2-week period. So now I know maybe every other day, I've got 30 minutes allotted to each of those 6 tasks. So every task gets 2 days of work at 30 minutes apiece, maybe, right? Or however you want to schedule it. That's the fun part. It's like, okay, I know I need to do these things. How do I fit them within my schedule? So you can ask Grant and Omar. I think for Grant, we say wake up, check conversations, inbound DMs, check your Slack. Then we go into checking in with Alec. Then we go into outreach. And even before all of that, I can't remember if you have it that way, Grant, but I think we had it like where you would go to the gym in the morning, or at least some kind of like walking, eating coffee.
Yeah, I go to the gym in the morning, and then the first thing I do, you always get the hard shit done first. So I do go into fulfillment, and then so anything technical I need to do, I do in the morning, and then I go into content, and then after that is any calls that are scheduled. So the calendar is only front facing to those times, and then it's calls plus like outreach, outside groups, my group after that.
And that's for the rest of his day.
Yeah.
So in the morning, he gets up, he's get moving, he gets eating. He does the thing he hates the most to make sure it's checked off. He's like, okay, I got that crap out of the way. Then he moves on to the things he likes, and that's where his calendar becomes opened up. And we actually even structured that because I asked him, when do you have the most amount of calls? He said, this is the time I like to do my calls. And we factored in too, like, Grant, how long is your lunch break?
Usually just like an hour. I kind of take my time.
He said when we made his schedule, a big thing that he liked was taking his time on lunch. So why would I take that from? I just baked it in. So when you create your own schedule, it's like it's yes, it's structuring your time, and some people like get afraid of that, but that's why I say structure around what we know is going to help you. But I also say, hey, what are things that you would really like to keep in your schedule? I didn't say, great, you need a 15-minute schedule, 15-minute lunch, 30-minute lunch. I said, you like a long lunch? Let's do a long lunch. You're okay moving in the morning? Let's get you moving in the morning. Let's just have a structure to all of it so that way you can execute it better. Because when you get those results, Grant's going to stick to that schedule even more religiously because he's going to see, oh, when I force myself to do things in a structured manner, I get benefit results. Therefore, I have that gratification, which leads to I want to stick to it even more, which leads to I get more results, which leads to him basically having a dopamine rush just by following his calendar, which sounds so corny. That sounds stupid, but it works.
That's a really good idea, actually. Like building something around your schedule. Yeah, because I think the activity tracker, like I'm looking at it now, like 3 times a day stories, 50 times a day minimum group engagement, and it's like when I look at this, I'm thinking, how could I structure this where it fits with my routine?
But
It's
see,
better
So
to
a
time
calendar is
block.
great.
Go ahead, Grant. Go ahead, Grant.
It's better to time block it,
Yeah.
unless it's like
Okay.
pieces of content or story, you can like, that kind of, there's like an actual set amount and like number you can put to that. But like groups, like I used to do the thing where I would try to track how many posts I engaged in, but like, okay, let's just do an hour and a half of going into groups.
Okay.
You'll end up getting more done actually that way.
That's a good tip. Yeah. That's what I'm doing actually. I just literally go through and I'm like, how many messages did I send? Who did I interact with?
Have
So
you
yeah,
gotten most of your work through groups?
no, I haven't. To be honest, I've changed niches. So I'm kind of just doing outreach through groups, through DMs.
Yeah.
And when I see, like, if I see at the moment, if I see ads, landscaping ads, I'm just DMing them and say, oh, I noticed that you're doing ads, and then just going with a pitch that way.
Yeah.
So
So
what-
once
So
you know,
I'm
once you
testing out a
find
lot of things.
yeah, so once you find whatever one of those work for you, then you just kind of get rid of all the other ones for now. And do
Yeah, makes
And what
sense because I'm just testing everything.
and if you go talk to Stephanie because Stephanie was really against group engagement. And we had a call like 2 Thursdays ago. And we had a call and I was basically explaining like the group engagement, everything. And like 2 hours later, she messaged me and she's like, I got off the call, I engaged in a group, a lady DM'd me, and I closed her for $6,300, all within 2 hours of ending the group
Wow,
call. And she was like,
wow.
I'm getting rid of my IG, I'm going all in on Facebook groups. And she just made one post and
Huh.
she had people reaching out to her. So a lot of people are afraid of the group engagement. And I'm not saying, I told Grant this too. I said, don't be afraid. When I say group engagement, I don't mean you can't cold DM, you can't cold call, you can't cold outreach, right? But what I'm saying is plant your seeds, then go hunting. So plant your
Mhm.
seeds early in the morning when you're sitting out in the sun, then go hunting. So Grant started doing that too, where he was like, okay, I'm doing outreach. He's like, let me do my group engagement. Now, Grant's always been a smooth talker, but he went out, did his group engagement, and then he's like, oh, they're coming in. Like, I think he got his group to over 150 people in a weekend.
yeah, it was like the first week and yeah, week and a half.
Yeah, I think you had that Thursday or Friday you had the group and then you were engaging. I think you had over 100 by Monday.
Hmm.
It was like a ridiculous number over like literally a weekend. I think it was like that Monday night or something, so 3 days.
Yeah, about yeah.
And then what are those 100 people? He's just going to follow up with them until he starts getting sales.
Yeah, having a niche group is definitely that's where all my business comes from. Besides, like I'm in a local networking group too, which has gotten me some work.
Yeah, local network groups are huge. I have a client I'm going to be meeting with after this call. He goes to an event for the CRM. You can go to events for the CRMs that you are connecting with. So if you're going to Patricia, what's the CRM that you use? Is it
Made Central.
Made Central? I kid you not. I could be wrong with Made Central, but I kid you not. If you know I work with a certain CRM a lot, go look up, does Made Central have events? Jobber has events. Service Titan has events. ServiceMate has events. High Level has events. No, when I say high level event, we all know that one, right? ClickFunnels has events. These people have events. So what do you do?
Mm.
So this client of mine, he tells me, he goes, Alec, I went to this event for a software, a CRM. He said, I think it was JobTread, and he goes, okay, who here does A, B, and C? I think they were like, who here does over, I think I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'll correct myself later. But I believe he said, who here is doing over 1 million in their business using JobTread? And he said, like, a lot of hands went up. Because again, if you're going to these events, you're probably, you're probably a little nerdy to some degree with the systems, right? He said a lot of hands went up. And then he goes, now watch this. And this is the guy who runs the event. He goes, watch this. He goes, how many of you understand how to integrate APIs? And he said, every hand went down. He said he raised his hand with 3 other dudes. He said 4 guys total at the entire event. Okay. Now, obviously, that's going to be different when you go to GHL, right? But at the niche specific CRM, he goes, how many of those APIs? He said it was like him and 4 other hands that he could see. Okay. The guy running the event said, if you want to grow your business, get with those guys. Never spoke to him a day in his life. He just saw the hands up and went, get with those guys. Money is just coming to you because they don't know how to do it. Now, if I say, tying back to the results, if I say I can connect APIs, is that an offer? No. Because what is the result? Connected, not connected. It's binary. But if I can translate, oh, we connect APIs to connect our leads, our conversion system with your active job management and then getting you review referrals, now that becomes an outcome because now we can quantify that.
Mm. Yep.
So go to the, like, I tell Grant all the time, Grant's always loved those in-person events. I'm like, go to your, like, I tell him, like, dude, go to your events, do your thing. Like, I have no notes. Like, he crushes it every time he goes to those events. Go to your events. You should be going to, if I'm going to events, I'm going to events in my niche and events for the CRMs that my niche uses. That's gonna be my 2 ones that I'm going to. And it's not 2 events only. Don't turn around and be like, there's only 2 events. That's a lie. There's events all the time everywhere.
If you want to know some events, send me a DM. I have lots of events, I can tell you, and they're not just tied to cleaning, they're home services.
And watch this. I'm gonna try to read Patricia's mind in terms of where she found these. Okay. I'm gonna put on my crystal ball. And it's probably ones I'm missing, but I have a feeling
If I can remember.
if
Let's
you want
see.
to find these events, you just go to Google and look it up. You can go to Facebook and look it up. You can go to LinkedIn and look it up. You can have emails from your CRM saying, hey, we're hosting an event. You're going to have friends in the space telling you we have these events. And when you go to an event, they're going to say, hey, are you also going to this event? All of those things require you to do what? Be social.
Yeah. That's not where I would say most of mine is like the people I run with. But also in the groups on Facebook is where, like, if you're in that CRM specific private group,
Yeah.
you'll see them, like who's going to this, who's going to that, who's going to this event, who's going to that
Yeah.
event.
And it gets fun if you're social. And imagine Grant is engaging all these landscaping groups. And then he says, "Oh, you know what? Brian did this. Bryant Mungo with and you guys are gonna laugh at this one because I think this is a great space that no one touches. Septic tanks.
Mm.
He went to a huge event for septic tanks, and people were commenting on stuff like, "Oh man, I'm sorry I missed you at a septic tank event. Don't tell me you don't have events. Don't tell me you don't want to go."
Yeah.
You think Brian likes septic tanks? No, the way he found it, well, he does now, but the way he found that space was he had a buddy who had that industry, and I went through a whole offer with him, and now he has a whole group around that with over 400 members, and he's going to the events. Go look at Jacob, McCallum, if I can say his name right. Go look at Jacob. He's all in on roofing. He goes to roofing events. Where do you think he finds clients and networks? The niche will tell you what to do, and then you just have to go and be social. And then you can develop your product market fit using your map. You can develop your language market fit, talking to them or talking to them about what they like and seeing what they like about it. You can develop your channel by asking them. We cover this in the sales system video. Hey, what networks are you guys in? Hey, what social medias are you in? Hey, what groups do you engage in? Because when they tell Patricia, hey, we're in this group, they're not going to say, hey, this random group. They're going to say, we're in this Reddit group, this Facebook group, this LinkedIn group, this Skull and Bones community under bridge at midnight, all wearing black cloaks, right? They're going to tell you where to go. And then you just go there.
I have two questions on what
Yeah.
you're talking about now. The first one is, where did you build Omar's and Grant's schedule at? Just in their calendar?
Google Calendar.
Okay. And
Oh,
then
and pro tip for the Google Calendar. On the times where you don't want them to book time, mark it as busy. So for Grant, we have a window in the afternoon that'll be like outreach, but we don't want that to block his sales call. So we mark it in the calendar as from busy to free. So now he can still get calls booked during his outreach period.
okay, because my calendar is a shit show. It's just
Yeah.
I have so many things I'm trying to fit in because I'm always trying to do too many things.
So leave your calendar how it is, go 3 weeks in the future and schedule it out there.
Okay.
Then everything that comes in gets filtered into, okay, these tasks are all in this category. So I have 1 hour to do this. Anything I don't do today is going to get rolled over into tomorrow's category. But at 10 a.m., I'm done. I'm moving to my next time block.
I think part of it too is, though, I used to be with Outlook and I switched to Workspace, and it has not been like I switched to Google Workspace and it hasn't been like a easy switch. And so, like, I'm still out of my personal Google Calendar and Outlook and also my new Google Workspace. So it's kind of just I've
Yeah, I would take
doubled
one day and
myself.
I would take like one day and just switch it over.
I know I need to do that.
Because think about it, like everything that you're doing task wise, you don't know if it ties back to growth or not because you don't have the calendar set up. So I would say, what is my growth formula? What are my tasks to do? And think about it, even if you're doing a setup. So with Grant, I literally told him like, hey, I want to get your growth formula, your activities, and tracking it in your calendar right? So growth formula, activities, tracker, block off a time, schedule it all out, set it all up for it to run smoothly, right? So you almost treat yourself like a client, like I have my own setup process before I go into my own recurring activities.
And
But doing that was a time, I think Grant and I spent like, Grant, was it like 2 hours that we spent doing that? Maybe less.
oh, 2 hours.
The
Okay.
calendar.
Yeah. How long do we take on the calendar?
It's not like 30, 40 minutes. It was just on one of our calls.
30. Okay. So
Say that
yeah,
again.
so 30, 40 minutes. So yeah, so 30, 40 minutes, way less than I thought. 30, 40 minutes. and then we had it all set up.
Yeah, because we were
And
doing
then we didn't even start it that day. We started it that next week.
yeah,
Okay.
we were doing some other stuff on like our Thursday call, and then we just did the calendar at the end. It didn't take that long.
Yeah. And then you just factor in like all of your tasks into those blocks.
Okay. And the second question I was going to ask you is, shit. Oh, how do you grow group? I don't have a group. I've tried to have a group before for my cleaning business and like to do tips and just,
So it's not, so
it's
think
not
about
hard.
this. Think about this. And this is what Sean Ellis talks about in Hack and Growth.
Mhm.
Where are they already operating? So your customers, why would they benefit from a group? The answer is no. Because they don't want to coordinate with other people who have messy homes. They just want to talk to you directly. So that's where you would have just one-on-one text, email chains, right? Or
Uh-huh.
conversations. Who would engage from a group? Who would benefit from a group? That might be your cleaning agency working with cleaning clients because they're going to want to work together to grow. So then the
Okay.
question becomes, okay, who am I? So who? Cleaning agency side. What do they need to understand? You can ask Grant. First thing we did was where, which is who. So who was landscapers? Where was Facebook? Language, we picked out his name. And I tell you guys in the training, make it evident that you are selling. Don't say landscaping and lawn care. And then when you sell, they're like, whoa, what the heck is this? Make it evident. So his is like lawn legacy. And then after that, we do lawn legacy colon. And then it's something about marketing and systems. So when we start talking about selling you marketing systems, you're not going to be blindsided.
That's the thing that so I'm glad you said that because, I have the one, I don't even know why I call her a coach. I mean, she's a coach, but not really. But anyway, she's for the cleaning company, but she has like this really awful, I mean, it's not awful. It's just her group doesn't grow very fast. It's been hard for me to help her grow her group, but I hate the name of it. It's called Not Another Cleaning Group.
Yeah, that's a dumb name
Thank you.
because it's literally a cleaning group.
I I I'm gonna go tell her.
Just tell.
Yeah. I've tried to tell her to change. I've given her options because it doesn't grow well. Because
So
people
I'm
get in
gonna
there like,
I'm gonna actually ask Grant questions to answer your questions. Okay.
mm,
So Grant, are you good with me asking you questions?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, Grant is a killer. So watch this. Okay. Grant, you had a client yesterday who was reluctant to what you wanted to do. Yes.
Yes.
And I told you to be really firm. And I don't even know what you told him, but you went and handled it in your own way. Do you mind sharing with Patricia the problem you had, how you were trying to handle it that wasn't working, how you changed it, and then the fact that it just worked, which is I'm just giving you the end up front.
So basically, to get his system fully set up, we needed him to use the payment processor we were trying to get him to use. He already had a Square set up, but he never used it because some people are kind of like they're very like apprehensive about the processing fees and stuff. And I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter. Like this is gonna far outweigh, saving a couple bucks every transaction. And then for a while, I just kind of let him like, I just kind of was like, okay, we'll build the systems around how you like to do it. And then I was like, actually, screw that. I don't want to hinder his business by like letting him do what he wants. And then so I texted him and I was just like, hey, like, we really need to I just think we need to do this our way and our way only because we know how to, scale companies like yours with tech. And the only way we're going to be able to do it to our full extent is by doing it the exact way we needed it to be done.
Now pause right there. Pause right there. Does that sound scary to some people to say to a client? Like we have to do it my way and only my way because we know what we're doing. So what do you guys think outcome of that could be when you phrase it that way? There's only two outcomes.
I mean, they could go with you or say no. That's just either yes or no.
Perfect.
I
So
think
if they say no, what happens? Let's go with worst fear. If they say no, what happens?
they go away. You don't work with them.
Okay, now, do you want to work with people who don't follow your process?
No,
Why not?
because it's twice as much work for the same money that if you just find someone who wants to work with you and do it your way.
Perfect. And are you going to get a case study as somebody who's not doing it your way?
No.
No. Flip it. back to Grant. Grant, what did he end up saying to you when you phrased it that way?
Wait, he goes, wait, where is it? He just immediately sent me, he goes, I'm like, give me the phone number. And then he goes, hey man, I meant to reach out to you. I'm sorry. And then I go, okay, just give me the phone number now. Let's just set it up right now. And he sent me the phone number, and then he went and like verified it, and it connected to high level. And then he just sent me like a whole text, was like, hey, thanks for being patient with me. I know this is like a mutually beneficial, and I know that I've been pushing the boundaries of what's acceptable for a business relationship. I genuinely am just spread thin and putting everything available into growing our business. Um, and he's just like, but I'm really excited to like get this going, and I know it's the right thing for the business. So it got an emotional reaction out of him for sure, and he did
So,
right away. So
so do you think that he trusts you more or less after handling it that way?
definitely more.
And I can say this because Grant is one of those guys where I tell Grant all the time, like Grant doesn't just do what I tell him. Like he'll give me quite a bit of pushback. And I tell him all the time after he does, I love that he does because he's doing that because he's trying to do the best he can with the business. We both care about it, right? It's like if you're a parent, like sometimes you want to like raise the kid different ways, right? It's not, and this is something I talk about even with politics. Like I can't stand when people are like, I hate the left, I hate the right. It's like you realize like we're both so equally passionate about what's best for our country. Like we can recognize that, that's big. We're both equally passionate about what's right for the kid. If we can recognize that, we're a team.
Mm.
You can still argue, but within the confines of a really cool, like, hey, we don't agree, but we both have a lot of patriotism. We don't agree, but we both love the crap out of this kid. Grant and I don't always agree, but we both want this business to do super, super well. So Grant will give me pushback all the time. And I tell him all the time, I love that he does that. Just like I do with my clients. Give me negative feedback. Right. So when I first told Grant that, he was like, I don't know. And then Grant was like, you know what? He was like, screw it. I'm going to do it. Messaged me 4 hours later. He's like, got him. And I was like, dang. And then he goes, and I got this other guy, right? I think Grant, you had another guy too. I don't want to say their names, but you had another guy. You're like, oh, we also got this guy set up.
Yeah, so I mean, I wasn't clear with um the True Fam guy, so
Yeah.
and then so I got him too. I told him basically why we want to do his payments like this going forward, and he agreed as well. So
Now watch this. Grant, did I tell you to reach out to that guy too, or was it was just the first guy?
it was just Alex, but I realized on the onboarding call with Matt, I didn't get clear information on payments as well.
Now, why do you guys think, and Grant, you can answer this too, because you obviously know what you were thinking. Why do you guys think that Grant needed me to basically push him for the first guy, but not the second guy? Why did Grant take initiative for the second guy?
Because they had proof that it worked.
He had proof. He was like, holy cow, this is making my life way easier. Let me go ahead and get this guy too. The first time you do it is the hardest time because it's like the fear of what if they say no. And that's what I told Grant. I was like, dude, if he says no, we're going to move on to somebody who has more time. But instead, what happened? The guy's like, I actually appreciate that you're pushing me because it shows me that you're invested in doing this and they need a guide. Go read the book, Building a Story Brand. They come to you as the guide. What kind of guide would be like, do whatever you want? It's not a guide. It's like, I might be the loudmouth guy, but like, I'm in the jungle. I don't know where to go. Like, you got to lead me. You know what I mean?
I think that I didn't push her hard enough because I probably because it's my responsibility I do a lot of different little stuff for her, you know that, because I get a kickback for other things of
Yeah.
like I don't pay for things in the coaching world and I don't pay for any of her courses or anything that I take for cleaning or my manager stuff. But so it's my responsibility to help her grow the group. But I think I didn't push her hard enough because I also thought, yeah, I'm gonna go change the name, and then she's gonna expect me to like come with 80,000 people or something, you know. So it was also just fear of like, okay, I'm just gonna let her do whatever she wants to do.
You don't know if the water's cold or not.
Yeah, mm,
What's the fastest way to find out?
just jump in,
Just jump
touch
in.
it, touch it.
It
Yeah,
doesn't mean that it's not scary. But
yeah,
if you look at the best closers, the best entrepreneurs, what they are is they are bold in the face of fear. And I call that just being brave.
mm,
You have to be, look at the best closer. The best closer just says, like, so what do we have to do to make this deal? And you're like, the gall on this guy. But then they'll just be like, let's do it. And you're like, why did that work? Because
yeah.
we think that by being gentle and soft and passive, that the sale's gonna fall into our lap.
I'm gonna tell her today. I'm gonna tell her she has to change it.
Tell her.
I mean,
And-
we've
and
been doing
now
it for
when you
more
do
than a
it,
year, and her group's only like 700.
and and Grant's gonna pass that by summer easily. Don't
Yeah.
let him pass you. And Grant should hear that and be like, no, I'm passing you.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Now we can compete in a really fun way that's gonna make everybody money.
Do you have group, sorry, I can't even talk. Do you have group strategies like how to grow it? Is it just going in? Well, I always called it power hour, like going into other groups that are doing the same thing.
I will let Grant tell you because he's very good at this.
Okay.
So basically in outside groups, I either directly push. There's always has to be a reason. It's not just like me like, oh, go join the group. It's usually me getting into a conversation in an outside group. And if I don't find, I first try to resort to if I have a VLM on it, like a YouTube video on it, and then my YouTube videos push all of them to a group anyway. But if it's just something like that I haven't made content on yet, I'll just be like, hey, like me and hey, come join this group. Like we cover everything, marketing, systems, and the business side of your industry. Just come here, and I'm actually going to make a training on that soon. So just come in and enjoy it, get a lot of free value. And so I'd either directly push it or my YouTube videos, all my traffic from YouTube goes to the group. And then the group is where I get the one-on-one DMs and the sales calls and stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
And he uses the exact flow that I cover in that 3.5 hour video. The exact flow.
I think she has a lot of content. I think it's not getting pushed. It's only pushed in the group and it's pushed on her page. So
We push it like crack in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like we push it like Grant is so good at pushing it. Because once you push it, you have your foot in the door, you follow up with them, you say, hey, last time we spoke, you were going through this or that. And Grant was telling me the other day, he had a conversation with a guy who I think, and Grant, tell me if I'm wrong, I think he reached out to him 2 or 3 times and he was like not interested. And then the third or fourth time, he was like, hey, I actually do have these problems that you're talking about. Can we talk or something like that?
You push the link or you just push I have a video, DM me if you want me and I'll share it with you. Because sometimes they don't let you share links.
Whoever doesn't reach out to him, that's week 1. Week 2, we forcibly push it out.
Yeah, if you Patricia, if you're talking about people within my actual group, it just depends on like where I am in that flow that Alec is talking about. But outside groups, I push the link. I haven't had an issue with it.
Interesting. I'll have to try it out. But because I've had trouble sharing like a link, like and I can't remember what I was doing, but I was like, oh, that's weird. It didn't post my post.
Post the YouTube video.
Okay, so maybe it was the YouTube video, not the fact that I was actually sharing a website. So maybe
Yeah, so like who was it? Robert always gets flagged as spam in the group when he shares a non-YouTube video, and I have to go and approve it every time. YouTube videos never get caught as spam because it's going to a well-known, well-trusted site, i.e. YouTube.
Good point.
Push
Okay.
the YouTube, and then like Grant said, push the group in every YouTube video.
So the only time I've ever had trouble with a link on outside groups is when you press the share button to your own group. But anytime I just copy the URL directly from my computer of the Facebook group, it always works.
Okay. All right.
Or you can say, hey, check out my bio, check out my profile. I have the group link there. And you can link the group URL right there. You can associate the group right there.
And also in outside groups, I do little things like anytime I get a like on my comment, I follow all of the people who like my comments. So I do like little things like that.
Okay.
And a lot of those things are things that Grant came up with. I would say engaging other groups. He came up with a lot of his own little tips and tricks to make it work. He would come to me like, I think in the beginning he would come to me and say, hey, how should I reply to this? Because I was showing him how to like kind of like stretch, like make a stretch. Like they said this. And I was like, okay, here's how I kind of guide it. I think I told him like 2 or 3 times max. And then he just took off like crazy.
Awesome.
He doesn't ask me anything about group engagement. I don't think he's asked me a question about group engagement in like months.
I may pick your brain some more, Grant, just in
Yeah,
case.
go ahead. No worries.
And I don't really, I know Alex is going to be like, I don't have any YouTube videos on anything that I do. I have no YouTube videos. I actually hate videos.
So watch this. You hate videos, push them to your group, and then find a way to share trainings. Find a way to speak to them.
You can just do documents.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now watch this. Would you perform better if you had the videos? Yes. But If I tell you to make videos and you don't make any, then you're not moving at all.
Not doing anything. Yeah.
So I'd rather you move slow, but watch this. Just like Grant had, just like everybody else had, the minute you do one and you see the reception it get. Omar, how many views did your first video get?
Like 300.
Oh,
300 views. Now watch
wow.
this. Omar, how long did it take you to make your first YouTube video? Not the process of making, but like how long until you said I'm gonna make a video? How long did that take you?
no, that's very fast.
Yeah, well, no, like from the minute that you had your agency. What was
Oh
the
no,
time?
no, 3 years. 3
Okay,
years.
watch this.
Yeah.
3 years. Now watch this. Watch this. Are you ready? Omar, how long between video one and video two did you take?
1 week.
There you go.
Yeah.
I hear
The
you.
first
I
one
hear
is the
you.
hardest one. The first one is the hardest one.
Yeah.
We
That's
should do
true.
it together, Patricia, because I'm
I'm-
at your stage.
And I'm on computer
Go.
all the time, but like,
Once
I mean,
you
I
start
could say
structuring your day, put time in there to do things you don't like. If you don't like doing a video, Grant hates fulfillment. When does he do it? Right after he works out, eats, has coffee. So
Yeah.
whatever your morning routine is, you got the kids, you got the spouse, you got the house, right? Whatever your morning routine is, right after that, do the thing you hate the most.
Mhm.
My morning routine does not start until 12:25 p.m. That's just my morning for the work. That's it.
Yeah, I don't do anything before 9:30 a.m.
There you go. I asked Grant, so what time do you wake up? He said, this time. I said, are you sure? He said, yes. I said, you want to wake up at that time every day? He said, yes. Let's start your schedule there. I said, what day do you want to be over with? He said, this time. I said, what time do you want lunch? He said, I want these times. Great. Let's structure what your personal preferences, and then let's make it fit within there.
And I also have to have a nap because I stay up really late. So I
There
take a
you
nap.
go. And you know what's crazy? If I show you my calendar, it'll make you guys sick because I work like today, I'm working, I kid you not, 3.5 hours.
I gotta go. I'm done with you today.
But like today is 3.5 hours, tomorrow's 3.5 hours. Friday, I'm working 45 minutes. But I structured my day to accommodate those things
Mhm.
because I prioritized my work-life balance more like life-work balance. So I prioritize those things.
Yeah.
So that's what Dan Martell talks about. He says, put the things in, your personal stuff in, then organize your work around that. Now it's about balance. So if you're like, I want to watch TV shows, okay, maybe have a day a week that you binge watch your show, but don't do that every day, right? Like don't binge watch your show every day because that's, be smart with it. Or if you go look at Oprah's schedule. I think hearing her schedule was something that was really cool to me. She does a nap, she reads a book an hour a day, she goes to the gym twice a day, and she's a billionaire. But there's two things. Number one, she prioritized what she wanted to do. And number two, she earned the right to do that.
Yeah.
And that's what I was talking about yesterday with somebody else saying you got to earn the right to have those things. You got to earn those rights. If you don't earn it, I have people come to me like, I want to make this much money I want to make $1 million in 7 months. I'm like, you're not earning it. I want the Lamborghini. You didn't earn it. Like, what do you mean you want do some people get life, just trillions of dollars given to them for no reason? Yeah, but that's the exception. That's not the rule. You've got to earn those things. You got to earn the right to go, to the beach and have a six pack. You've got to earn the right to, I don't know, get whatever car you want. You got to earn the right to, you got to earn those things, right? And sometimes it's going to be easier. Sometimes it's going to be harder. You got to earn the right to work whatever schedule you want, right? You have to earn those things. So if you look at it like that, and I saw a video from Hormozy who was like, you could achieve anything you wanted to in 10 years. He's like, the problem is when you say 10 years, nobody wants to work those 9 years to achieve their goal in the 10th year. They want the 10th year tomorrow. And because they want the 10th year tomorrow, they'll spend 30 years screwing off and then complain about it. But you're good, Patricia. We're wrapping up right now anyway.
Thanks, guys. Talk to y'all later.
See
I
ya.
just want to add a comment, Alec.
Yeah. What's up?
I want to share that this will be the best month on my entire life.
That's crazy.
in cash flow, new clients, and in general in my business, this is the best one.
Yeah. What do you think? Now watch this. Everybody but Omar, watch this. Omar, what do you think led to you having the best month right now?
No, definitely following saso strategy, because I joined your group in saso uh, during October.
Hmm.
So I've been watching everything, and I'm trying to learn everything about the strategy. I'm coming here for every single session. I I, I never failed coming here to the sessions because
Yeah.
I learn a lot.
I always expect, oh, if Omar's not here, we're gonna send out like a welfare check or something, make sure he's okay.
Yeah, and I think the most important is that now I have the correct way, the correct path
Mm.
to follow, because I have your guidance. Before I didn't have any guidance, so I was lost. And you helped me to put everything together in my personal plan, in my
Hmm.
personal business. So that's very customized for my business, for my goals.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
we did your growth formula, we did your activities, we did
mhm,
your tracker, we did your calendar. And one of the things I was really big on with you, because I have a really high standard for any of the married guys here, is I always, and you were always very good with Allie, but I always said prioritize Allie, right? Because I said the business will fall, but you'll have Allie forever. So I always said prioritize
yeah.
Allie, and Omar's done a great job with that. But having a great month in business, now watch this, guys. This is how you get like case study material, okay? And Omar, it's kind of hard to look at it from the outside, but try to. He had a great month in business, right? Why does that matter? Like, how does that impact Omar outside of work? How does that impact Omar and Allie? How does that impact your day to day? Like, if you don't mind sharing, if it's too personal, don't share.
No, no, that's perfect, because also I think that this is the best month in a lot of senses, in a lot of parts of my life, because now we can share more together, Ale and me. We had a very great breakfast during last Sunday when we got paid. So I invited her, hey, come on, let's go to have a very good breakfast together to celebrate this. Uh, and we were very happy during these last weeks, sharing a lot, and having this fun through the process, because sometimes that you're making some contents, and you're record the videos and the scripts and everything, and she's helping me with these parts also, and sometimes we get some funny parts, that some errors, and we
Yeah,
need to repeat again,
bloopers.
and again and again. Oh no, oh no, oh no, okay. So that is very funny for us, sharing these kind of parts that we didn't before, because we hadn't had this strategy and this action plan. So we started very straight during this month. I started with the YouTube channel.
Mm,
I started with my weekly sessions with
mm.
my people.
Yeah, it's
I,
good.
I started with my private UHL community. So we started running a lot of parts that we talked before with you during the last 2 or 3 months. So we started working on that, building everything, building the assets, building the
Mhm.
community, building the workflows, everything.
Yeah,
So during this month, we started the action of the program.
yeah.
So that's why we're very happy.
And I didn't teach you. I mean, you can tell people like I didn't teach you any new technical skill. It was just more so of you know what you know how to do it. Let me just tell you what to do, when to do it, how often to do it, and then you just be Omar. You just do what you're good at doing. So a
Yeah.
lot of the time, like what you guys will see is like Omar's having a good month because he does the work, he tries, he figures out, okay, how do I actually do what we just talked about? The growth formula, the product market fit, the language market fit, the channel market fit. There's a reason why we chose all the platforms that we chose to market for him. There's a reason why I told him keep WhatsApp, even though I never touched WhatsApp. There's a reason why I told him to keep it because that's where his people were operating. That's where he had a good channel going. So I'm very happy for you, Omar. I know it's only going to get better because you just started the YouTube stuff. But also, listen to what he said. He said it took him 3 years to get to that point.
Yeah.
So there's going to be this journey. If you look at what Hormozy says, because I know a lot of people look up to him. So if you look at Hormozy, he says 2 to 7 years, 2 to 7 years to get to the point where it's like, oh, it's starting to steamroll. What I try to do in this group, because part of my growth metric is if you get clients and you are happy, you will stay. If you stay, you'll pay GHL or you'll pay Alec. If you pay GHL, GHL pays me. If you pay me, you pay me. And then I can say, great, I've got an Omar. Omar's not going to go anywhere because I got him on the affiliate. So I'm like, great, Omar's locked in. So if I want to make a lot of money, I need to have a ton of Omars. So now the game becomes for Alec, how do I get a ton of Omars? Well, I need to attract the Omar. I need to speak with the Omar. I need to convert the Omar in my way of thinking. I need to make sure that he's actually executing. I need to basically do all the things I did with Omar over and over again. So let's say Omar's my only success. He's not, but let's say he's my only success. I'm going to turn around and say, okay, how did Omar find me? I'm going to say, like, watch, I'm going to say, Omar, we'll do the three things real quick in like one sentence each, like just speed round, Omar. Omar, what about the Saso product do you like?
The saso product, definitely the community.
So community's big. Anything else?
Community, all the learning materials, the courses.
So courses, learning materials.
Uh-huh.
What
Uh,
specifically about those two things?
that, for example, these sessions
Mhm.
that we can ask for questions or something that we have there inside the program, the problems that we're facing every day. We get your feedback, your coaching.
Mhm.
So that helps me to move forward on those parts.
Perfect.
Uh,
So that would be Omar's telling me, Alec, these are the things I like the most. There's things he's not mentioning, but he's mentioning certain things. So should I lean into for product market fit what he's telling me or what he's not telling me? I should lean into what he's telling me. I'd be stupid to say Omar just gave me what he thinks is gold. I'm going to go the opposite direction. That's dumb. Now, that's product market fit. I should lean into being more available, more feedback, more coaching opportunities. Upsell should be coaching. And these are all things Omar can tell you we did for his growth formula. Upsell should be custom builds. He started doing that, boom, more sales, right? So I'm leaning into that. Now, that's product market fit. Let's lean into language market fit really quickly. Omar, how would you tell somebody who doesn't know me what I do and why they would join?
Definitely, because they're gonna have the correct mentoring and coaching, and it's very hard when you get lost and you are trying to do everything by yourself, and you don't have a coach that have been crossing this walk before.
Mm,
And all the experience that you have and all the experience that you bring to us is insane. That's insane value.
So then
So
that's our language market fit because he's telling me what he would tell other people. So I'm going to take how he communicates what I do from April Dunford, obviously awesome. I'm going to take what he's telling other people and I'm going to say, hey, this is the benefit of what we do. So I have the product, but now I need to market the product via language. I'm going to use his own words. You're going to have a coach who's been where you are, who's going to take you through the exact process to execute your model, your SWAS business model, your sales system business model, right? And then the final piece is the channel. Watch this. Omar, where did you find my content or where did you find me in general?
I found you in GHL Facebook group, the official group, and then I was seeing you that you answered a lot of questions.
OPA for 4 hours a day.
Uh-huh.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
And then did you see any of the YouTube content?
Yeah, for sure. When I started uh, following you, then eventually I went to your YouTube channel. I started watching your videos, and I'm getting involved on those videos. So I wanted to become a member of Saso eventually.
And how long you find me? How long until you join Say So? Like, what was the time in between?
I found you, I think, more than 1 year ago.
So, what do you think about it? Think about it. Like, over a year ago, he joins in October. So, what would
Uh-huh.
that be like? 8 months, 8 to 10 months, right? Or I'd say eight,
Mhm.
I'd probably say 8 months, right? Let's say 8 months. 8 months of a sales process that I didn't have to speak to him one time.
Yeah.
And he comes on board, high enthusiast, high trust, high communication, ready to get to work. That's the benefit of the group engagement plus the content. And I tell Grant this all the time. I'm like, Grant, no, you might not realize when you're doing that group engagement how many people are paying attention to you. And they'll hit you up and be like, "Oh, I've been watching your content for a year. I've been watching your content for 2 years. I've been following you for 6 months. I've been following." Nobody that comes to me says, "Oh, I found you yesterday." Nobody does that. And so Omar comes on board ready to go. So now I know what channel do I need to operate in? The Facebook group continuously, YouTube content. And for anyone who's like, well, Alec, you do agencies. Grant is here doing landscaping. These guys, go ask them where they find their content. Everyone is on YouTube. Whatever you're doing for your channel, it's going to be YouTube plus. YouTube plus Facebook, YouTube plus LinkedIn, YouTube plus Instagram, YouTube plus yada yada, Blue Sky, YouTube plus Red Note. It doesn't matter. It's YouTube plus. Everyone is on YouTube. So that's why I say look at OPA, look at creating content, look at pushing your content. Because I have a feeling Omar probably found one of my YouTube videos when I was pushing it in the Facebook group. And I was like, oh, check out this video. And Omar's like, oh, okay, I'll check. Maybe I'll look at it. Because I'm pushing it like crack in the 80s. I'm just going crazy with it.
And also your free material.
Free
Uh,
material,
for,
give more
for
than you take, right?
for example, the Sasolite,
Mhm.
I started learning about these documents by free.
Mhm.
So I realized that this was very high value on these documents.
Mhm.
So I started go deeper on you, and then I decided to jump to
Yeah.
Saso.
Because you probably think if this is what's going out for free and this is better than what people have in the paid, or this is equal to what people give me for paid, what does the paid look like?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
So that's what I'm saying. So now it's like, okay, well, how do I do all of that? Video lead magnets. The lead magnet has the video linked. You can consume all the free content. You can get the exact script. So now you're like, wow, there's a lot of content. What's in the paid stuff?
Yeah.
Like, are you like it gets better? Like, that's the idea. And it's not from a conceited point of view because I build the content around what people tell me they need help with. When Grant was like, I think Grant was like for his first video, I didn't even have to ask him or I didn't even have to tell him. He was just like, oh, this is the question I get the most. I want to make a video on this. I'm like, let's do it. He was like, hey, this is the next question I'm seeing the most. I'm like, let's do it. After I think like 5 videos, he was like, okay, now help me find some good ideas. But he was like, let me just replace the conversation I'm having with video content. That's all you have to do to start your YouTube channel. What's the number one topic conversation you're having the most? And then you just repeat that, or you just translate it into content, right? But no, I'm super appreciative that you're willing to share, Omar. Super happy for you and Ali. Because again, I was telling Omar, Omar's a very humble guy, and I keep telling Omar, I'm like, listen, I might tell you what to do, but you're actually doing it, putting a thought into it, you're executing. Like that is the hard part. So I'm super excited to see what happens for Omar and Ali this year. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys like how simple it is to find these things. We covered like what they were, and then you guys have a live example of an actual case study of mine who is going to say, "This is what I think you do, product market fit. This is what I tell other people you do, language market fit. Here's where I found you, channel market fit." That's it. We did that I timed it under 6 minutes. So that's why it's so big to have those guinea pigs. It might be Grant might have people saying, "Hey, network events, great, Grant, let's go to more network events." We already know that's already a part of our plan because he got great results going to those. Grant's like, I'm crushing Facebook, more network events, more YouTube. That becomes the three-pronged approach that we attack. It's so much simpler than most people make it out to be. But Omar, again, I appreciate you sharing. I appreciate all you guys coming out. My challenge to you guys would be identify, if you have clients, your product market, your language market, your channel market fit. Don't rush it. Don't guess and skip it. Be thoughtful, be deliberate. But appreciate you guys coming out. If you guys have any questions, shoot me a DM or post in the group. Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow. We have the call with Amanda. That is going to be a lot of fun. That's probably going to be our number one most attended call. I think that the registration is already like at least 20 people coming. So that's going to be a pretty fun one where she's going to show what she does. And if you guys don't know about Amanda, she is an AI like monster. Like she's actually won awards in AI groups. So that'll be a really fun one to see. She has some really, really crazy case studies too. So I'll see you guys tomorrow, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll live stream it to YouTube as well.
All right.
But have a good one, guys.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye, guys. Bye. Thanks.
Yeah.